Due to him losing his license because of a DUI, she was placed on the night shift instead. Lacey really didn't want this shift because you never know if people who order late at night actually want a pizza or if they have other intentions in mind. Unfortunately, her boss essentially told her if she wasn't willing to work the night shift, she was fired. Lacey wasn't exactly in a position to be out of work, so she reluctantly worked the shift. The first month went by without any issues. That was until she had to deliver a pizza to a house that just barely made it to their delivery radius. Lacey put the address in the GPS, and the house was located in a pretty suburban part of the city. She arrived at about 11 p.m. The block was extremely quiet, decently lit, and mostly littered with modern townhouses. But the house she delivered to was a duplex. Lacey rings the doorbell and waits for about 30 seconds. No answer. She rings it again and waits for another 30 seconds. Still no answer. She's standing there getting pretty nervous that something's about to go down, but thankfully a man opens the door. He looked like he was in his late 40s. Lacey tells him his pizza's here and he just stands there, staring at her. She asked him if he was okay and he responded by saying, "Yeah, I'm fine, sorry. I got off work not too long ago and I'm going out of it." He hands her the money and she hands him the pizza. And as she's making change, he says, "You're really beautiful, you know that?" Not really thinking too much into it, Lacey thanked him for the compliment and gave him his change. She walked back to her car and finished the remaining deliveries for the night. A few days later, Lacey gets a delivery order from the same place. She heads over there around the same time as before and rings the doorbell. He answered the door very excitedly and said, "Hey, it's you again. How are you?" Lacey told him she was tired and can't wait to go home, to which he chuckled and said, "I know that feeling pretty well." As he's counting his money, he asks what her name is. Being tired at this point and not really thinking, she stupidly tells him her name. As Lacey was making change, he asks if he could have her number, as he'd love to hang out with someone as gorgeous as she is. Lacey's just standing there awkwardly for a few seconds before she said, "Sorry, I have a boyfriend." He gets upset and says, "Oh, okay. I see." They stand there in silence before she tells him to have a good night and walks back to her car. He says nothing and still stands at the doorway staring at Lacey until he finally went back inside when she started the car. There was a pretty creepy vibe from this guy, and she even brought it up to her co-workers and they also agreed it was creepy. Except for her boss, who overheard everything and claimed Lacey was making up stories to try to gain sympathy for having to take the night shift. A week later, there's an order from the same guy, and this is when it hits the fan. Lacey arrived at the house at around 10:30 p.m. As she's approaching the door, it quickly swings open to reveal the man, except this time he was wearing a suit. "Sorry if I scared you. I saw you out the window and figured I'd just open the door now so that you wouldn't have to ring the bell." Lacey was getting scared because there were no lights in the house, so he was sitting in the darkness the entire time. "So, why?" He asked if she liked his suit, to which Lacey said yes. He then asks, "Would you like to go on a date with me tonight?" She once again tells him that she has a boyfriend, to which he chuckles and gets close to her and says, "There's no way a girl your age is in a serious relationship. If you go on a date with me, I'll show you how to be treats a girl." He grabs the pizza box from her, throws it to the side, and grabs her by the arms. Lacey's officially losing her mind at this point and trying not to cry from the fear that was overwhelming her. She starts pleading with him, "Dude, please, I just want to go home. I don't want to go on a date." He just stares at her with the most sinister look and says, "I don't care. Get inside now. We're gonna have a good time." He starts trying to pull Lacey into the house and she's resisting as much as she can. After a bit of struggling, he lets go of one of her arms and starts grabbing something out of his pocket, which she presumed was a knife. Lacey used her free arm to punch him as hard as she could in his stomach. She quickly runs to the car, and as she gets in, he chases after her and tries pulling Lacey out of the car, holding the knife in the other arm, and yells, "Why are you making this so difficult?" She grabs her soda bottle from the cup holder and throws it at him, luckily hitting his head, causing him to let go. She slams the door, and then all of a sudden, he jumps right on the hood of the car and starts scratching and banging on the windshield. Lacey put the car in reverse and quickly backs out of the spot and reverses down the road with him, desperately trying to hold on. He's banging on the hood, screaming, "Stop the car!" She turns onto the next road as swiftly as possible, and luckily he falls off the hood. Lacey slammed the gas to get as far away as she could from that disgusting man. In
Wait.
Instead, she drove a couple blocks down the street and kept making turn after turn onto other side blocks as Lacey feared that she was being followed. Eventually, Lacey reached the red light and slammed on the brakes and just sat there at the intersection frozen from what just happened. She began crying and violently shaking. It dawned on her that she came so close to losing her life. Once the light turned green, she pulled over to the side and just sat there crying. Eventually, Lacey gets the energy to drive back to the pizzeria, and almost immediately after she walks in, her co-worker knew something was wrong. She practically broke down in front of him and explained everything that happened. Lacey's boss even began apologizing profusely for what had just happened and for putting her on the night shift. He took her into the office and handed her the phone to call the cops. They arrive at the store and Lacey gives them her statement, as well as taking pictures of any marks on herself, as well as the scratches on the car from the encounter as evidence. Lacey drove home that night and collapsed on the bed and, strangely enough, managed to fall asleep. She quit her job the next day, and luckily a friend of hers managed to help her get a new job at a clothing store. As far as the psycho goes, 2 days later, Lacey received an update from the police. The entire
Why?
was owned by the guy's brother.
What do you want? Why all? Fine. Wait.
When they arrived at the house, he was long gone, and his family had no idea where he ran off to. The police insisted they would find him, and indeed they did, albeit alive. She spent the next 2 months in fear that he would find her and finish what he had in mind. The police contacted Lacey and updated her on the case. Apparently, he fled to another city nearby and attempted to kidnap a teenager walking alone on the street. Luckily, someone was there at the right time. He manages to flee and the police chase after him. He blew a red light near a busy boulevard and the van slammed right into the driver's side of his car. By some sort of miracle, the driver of the van only sustained minor injuries while the psycho succumbed to his wounds long before the ambulance even arrived. Lacey thanked the officers for everything they did and for the fortune she walked out of the station. Lacey walks down the street and is thinking of everything she had just been told. She doesn't wish death upon anyone, but after hearing about him dying, there was a feeling of relief. She was relieved that he couldn't hurt anyone anymore and would never have to encounter him ever again. Who knows what would have happened to Lacey if he managed to pull her into the house that one delivery night. Max was a new college transfer student looking to rent out a room on Craigslist. Fortunately, he found a nice 2-bedroom apartment for cheap rent and close to campus, so it was the ideal spot. The girl who lived there was named Beth, and she was 29. She was tall with jet black hair and wore pale makeup. She seemed nice, although a little quiet, but she decided to let Max move in. During their first night living together, both of them went out for pizza, and that's when Max could tell there was something a little bit off with Beth. However, she kept telling him how much he loved her child. Max didn't know what to say, so he just shrugged it off. Thanks. Even though he looks nothing like him. When they got back home, Beth asked if he wanted to see the room. The walls were covered in posters of Shia LaBeouf. She even had printed out photos of him all over her mirror. She owned all his movies, and Max didn't know what to make out of it. The entire night, Beth had been saying how much he looks like him, and now it's obvious that she's obsessed with the guy. A few weeks passed, and they never really saw each other that much. Beth would come home from work and practically run into her room and spend the whole night there. She had this completely giggle, and Max would hear her giggling to the walls all night. What the hell could she possibly be doing? Occasionally, Beth would come out of the room for 2 minutes, and she would always be slurring her words, so Max suspected that she was drinking a lot. Sometimes Beth wouldn't say anything, she would just stand in the hallway and watch him in the living room. Max would turn around to see her and say, "Hello, Beth," and then there would be this long, awkward pause while she gave out her creepy, high-pitched giggle. It was uncomfortable being around Beth, and she gave him the chills. One night, Max woke up at around 2 a.m. because he heard what sounded like the front door being locked. He came out of his bedroom and all the lights were off, but he could still see Beth standing at the front door. She had her face against it, and she was turning the lock back and forth over and over again. And every time she turned the bolt, she mumbled Max's name. Max Parker. Max Parker. Max Parker. Seeing her standing in the dark, mumbling his name back to listen to her. 10 minutes into her story and she was so riled up. She was screaming at the top of her lungs about their breakup. Max was worried that the neighbors were going to call the cops and she wasn't listening when Max was asking her to lower the volume. Amidst all the screaming, one thing she said really freaked him out. She was in such a fit and yelled, "I'll slit his throat." Suddenly Max had no idea what this girl was capable of. She was practically a stranger and everything he had seen was becoming alarmingly disturbing. After a few more minutes, she told him thanks for listening and she started doing it again. Max got out of there pretty fast and he had a pretty unsettled feeling about being in the house with her. And what's worse was that there was no lock on his bedroom door. He pushed the edge of his dresser in front of it to act as a little barricade. Max woke up in the middle of the night to the sound of his dresser screaming against the floor. Beth was pushing the door open. He turned on the light, shouting at her to stop, and he could see her from the opening of the door. She was so drunk and had this insane look in her eyes. Max yelled at her to go to bed. He could hear her walk back to her room. Again, there was no way he was able to fall back asleep. The next morning, when Max went out into the hallway, his heart dropped. He saw one of her steak knives on the floor by his door. All he could think about was how she was saying she would slit that guy's throat. But Max confronted her about it, and she said she doesn't remember trying to push his door open. She says she doesn't even remember telling him about her ex. Max had enough. His lease was month to month, so he found a new spot and moved out. Not long after, Beth contacted him again. Max was at the movies, and when he turned on his phone, to his shock, he received over 40 text messages that she had sent him over the past 2 hours. They were all just insane texts that ranged in between, "Hi, how are you?" to "I hate you." Max never responded, and he never heard from Beth again. However, he always wondered if he hadn't set his dresser in front of his door that night, would she have quietly come into his room? On one Friday afternoon, I got a call from my friend Sarah asking if I wanted to meet her and another friend Lisa at Dunkin' Donuts, as we hadn't seen one another in a long time. I got there after a 15-minute walk and found them sitting together, so I joined them. As we were chatting, I noticed that my sister Elena was sat at a table in the corner of the room with her friend Jess. I excused myself from the table and went over to my sister. Immediately, Elena whispered to me, "Don't look now, but the guy in the blue shirt, I think he's been following Jess and I." She told me that he's passed her table a good 5 times in the past 20 minutes to go to the bathroom, but he walks slower every time he passes them. I told them they were most likely being paranoid and there was nothing to worry about. But for their peace of mind, I offered to leave with them so they wouldn't feel as worried. I walked back to my table and explained the situation to Sarah and Lisa. Both of them laughed it off and assumed my sister was being paranoid as well. Literally about a minute later, I saw the man get up from his seat and walk towards the bathroom. My eyes followed him, and sure enough, he walked extremely slow past Elena and Jess. In fact, it was almost comical how obviously slow he became. Both Elena and Jess looked in my direction, and I nodded to show that I had seen him walk slower. About 5 minutes later, I walked towards the restroom and whatever they were. They both agreed that they wanted to go now, so I said we would leave after eventually to the restroom. Elena had come in her car, so she was going to give me a lift back. I was walking down the corridor back into the main eating room when Elena and Jess rushed towards me. I asked them what's going on, and they explained that another man had joined the strange creeper and that the men were both pointing and staring at them. We walked back to the eating area. I put my money on our table and explained to Lisa and Sarah that I was taking off and I would explain what was going on when I got home. We all got into Elena's car and left. After a 2-minute drive, I reached my house. Just then, I remembered that I had been meaning to return something I had borrowed from my mother. So I asked if Elena could drive me to my parents' house as she was going there anyways. I jumped out the car to get what I needed when my phone began to ring. It was Elena. She explained that a car had driven past and had pulled into a driveway. She said that the driver was the creep from Dunkin' Donuts. I looked out my window and sure enough, there was a car which didn't belong to the owner of the house parked on their driveway. I got the girls into the house and locked the door. I instructed Elena to take a photo of the car and the license plate and told Jess to call 911 as she would give the operator more information than what I could. Elena took the photos and we sort of gathered around Jess as she was speaking to the operator. She had finished telling the story and I heard the operator assure us that the police would be on their house soon. A few minutes passed and there was a loud knock at the front door followed by a voice shouting, "It's the police!" I decided to leave as I went to the door. Jess told the operator that the police were here and she hung up. Definitely something she shouldn't have done. I was in the process of unlocking the door when I thought to look through the slide over the top. I peered through and it wasn't a police officer. It was the same guy. I froze in fear the police. Elena and Jess were both confused as to why I said this. You have the wrong address. I informed the girls that it was the creep at the door and not a police officer. Both were rightfully shocked and extremely scared, as was I. We had a call, sir. I was about to tell Jess.
Ninja to the beat, y'all!
Sir, you have to let me in. I heard the police pull up and set a commotion outside. This time an actual police officer knocked on the door and I let him in. The police officers took the man into custody while another police officer took Elena and Jess into the dining room for some brief questioning. The man was found with a kitchen knife and was into the car. I was relieved and thankful the police were outside. Who knows what could have happened if I didn't look through the spy hole first and accidentally let that man in our house.
Why is no one joining?
On one Friday afternoon, I got a call from my friend Sarah asking if I wanted to meet her and another friend Lisa at the Donuts as we hadn't seen one another in a long time. I got there when Lacey was... Max was a new college transfer student. Leah was a teenager living... I was texting this girl I met through Tinder and I finally asked if she wanted to go out for dinner. She replied and said yeah, so I picked her up and we got to the restaurant. Things were going well. It was our first time meeting in person. We started talking about our favorite shows, which... It was the summer after graduation, and Jennifer was up late packing for a camp.
Hi guys, my name is Daniel. Here's what I want to talk about. My dad went missing for almost a year, and I feel guilty about it. I'll start from the beginning. My dad was the most positive person on earth. For as long as I can remember, he was always glowing with happiness. But everything changed after one incident about a year ago. He didn't come home from work one night. At first, my mom and I thought that everything was okay. He still hadn't shown up at 9 o'clock that evening. That's when we began to call our friends and his colleagues. No one knew where Dad could be. Then, I found Dad's boss's phone number.
Okay. No. Okay, fine.
And we called him. He surprised us a lot when he said that that day, my dad didn't show up at work, and he didn't answer his phone calls. It was then that we really began to worry. What's happening? Where was he all day? We called the police, and 2 officers came to us and started asking us questions about my father. Soon afterward, they found him. He was in the hospital, so my mother and I rushed there. When we got to the hospital and finally saw him, he was asleep. He was covered in scratches and bruises. There were pieces of glass in his clothes, and his shirt sleeve was almost torn off. The doctor said that he had a concussion and could have some sort of short-term memory loss. But everything else was fine. Officers said that they found him outside the city. Looks like he was driving at a high speed, lost control, and his car ended up in a ditch.
Yeah, hello.
He was very lucky that he survived this accident.
Hello.
We spent the whole night in the hospital, and when Dad woke up, we asked him what happened, and his answer shocked us. He said that he flew off the road.
What?
Wish I could. Can't.
Oh. Is it true? We're doing giveaway. Don't pick up all of the weapons. Oh wait, your brother already picked them all up. You want to help me go to Canny Valley? Your brother is in Canny. Yeah, leave.
Because he was hit by another car. It was a serious allegation. So the police started an investigation. They came to our house a few times and asked a lot of questions. About a month later, they sent us a letter with their expert's conclusion. According to this letter, the car didn't have any traces of the front of the vehicle. No one had rammed my father's car. Dad was angry. He complained about the police inaction and insisted that he was telling the truth. But my mom was upset. She believed the police and thought that my dad was lying and hiding something. Besides, where was didn't know who was right, but I knew that Dad was acting weird. He always covered the windows with curtains. His phone was often turned off. It seemed like he was afraid of something, but he wouldn't say what. In general, the atmosphere in the house was strange. But then something happened that really scared me. I was home after school doing my homework when I heard the front door slam loudly. I went down and saw my father. He looked scared. He had huge eyes and could barely breathe. When he caught his breath, he finally said, "I saw her again! That car!" Then he ran up to the table and began to write something on a piece of paper. He tried to remember the car's license plate number, but he couldn't. Dad was really worked up. He nervously walked around the house saying that Mom would finally believe him now. But she didn't. After all, there was no evidence. So I just bickered again. And I can understand Mom. Her husband is acting strange, obviously hiding
I want
something.
you to go to page 6 of Plankerton.
Since then, Dad has spent a lot of time on the computer. He was doing something, printing some articles. In the garage, he hung up a board where he attached various photos and documents. He even installed security cameras around the house.
Okay.
He was determined to prove to me and my mom that he was right. It looked more like paranoia. But this is my dad. He always knows all out. So we lived like this for 2 months. Evenings, Dad sat in the garage and watched the video from the cameras. I kept hoping Dad would admit that he was wrong or finally tell us why he didn't go to work that day. But once,